The ketogenic diet, better known as the keto diet, or just keto, has been touted as a holy grail weight loss method by celebs like Jenna Jameson and Halle Berry, alongside many slimmed-down Instagram influencers. While all this sounds pretty great, keto isn't exactly the golden ticket to eternal youth or weight loss. When it comes to slimming down in particular, keto is controversial. Here are 7 dangers you should know about it. If you're new to keto, the diet is pretty simple. Drastically cut down on carbs, like 50 grams or less a day. That's less than 2 slices of whole grain bread. And replace those calories with high-fat, high-protein foods, like cheese, bacon, and avocado everything. The idea is that over time, cutting down on carbs can launch you into a state of ketosis, hence the name keto, which is where your carb-deprived body begins burning fat rather than sugar for energy. Some studies suggest that having an alternative fuel source may spare muscles from breaking down during high-intensity workouts and can also increase your athletic performance. Research shows that there could be some other health benefits to embracing the keto lifestyle. For one, doctors say the keto diet can be helpful in treating epilepsy. Though it's unclear why exactly, something about the ketogenic state seems to reduce the frequency of seizures. Animal studies also suggest it could have anti-aging, anti-inflammatory, and cancer-fighting benefits as well. But keep in mind, these are just animal studies at this point. Danger number 1. You might catch the keto flu. Adjusting to any new diet can be hard, but going keto may actually make you feel sick for the first few days. This is widely known as the keto flu. Kristen Kaiser, a dietitian at Pura Vida Behavioral Nutrition, explains why this happens.
Keto is really interesting. From a biochemistry standpoint, it's a very unique diet. Keto flu is very well named. People experience flu-like symptoms and they might be lethargic, fatigued. Some people vomit, some people are sweating. Most diets, you are not actually going into a different physiological state. You stay in the fed state, you might go into the fasting state. It's just this physiological response that some people have when they make such a dramatic change in their diet and in response to going into ketosis.
Like the actual flu, drinking lots of water and getting plenty of sleep may make it easier to get through the worst. Danger number 2, diarrhea. Yep, keto diarrhea is a thing. Why? Well, when you cut carbs, you also cut fiber, aka indigestible carbs found in whole grains, fruits, and veggies that help bulk your stool, slow digestion, and in turn keep the runs at bay. Kaiser explains why your poop might be a bit more, loose than usual.
Because it's such a high-fat diet, that's actually what's causing the diarrhea. You're removing fiber, which tends to be helpful for bowel movements, and then you're adding in very high fat. Some people, especially if they're older, they may not be able to tolerate that sort of fat level anymore. Then things are just running through their system quite quickly.
Danger number 3, your athletic performance could suffer. Keto's not just popular with people trying to lose weight. Some athletes who benefit from staying slim, like cyclists, are also getting into the keto craze, claiming the diet makes them faster and stronger. Whitney Linsenmeyer, an assistant professor at St. Louis University, doesn't buy it and argues that keto actually reduces athletic performance. She explains.
One of the perceived detriments for athletes in particular is that when you are in ketosis, you have a higher level of ketone bodies, which are acidic compounds circulating in your blood. And there's a number of theories related to kind of the time to exertion or like the time to fatigue for athletes in varying sports where that's generally not a good thing. We know that we have like buildup of acid from strength-bearing activities. So further acid contribution to that is generally not something that we're striving for. It's hard to tell, if an athlete follows the keto diet for 30 days, let's say they lose 5 pounds during that 30 days, is it the 5-pound weight loss that is actually making a difference with their performance? Or is it actually the state of being in ketosis? And right now the research, I don't think we know enough to be able to say definitively, but I would say skeptics kind of think that it's more so the weight loss than the actual state of ketosis.
Danger number 4. Going keto could trigger a potentially fatal side effect. Ketosis is a good thing on the keto diet. Burn that fat. Ketoacidosis, on the other hand, is a seriously dangerous, while rare, side effect of the keto diet. Kaiser explains.
Ketoacidosis, absolutely. It is very serious. It is very unlikely for most people following the keto diet, but ketone bodies, which are being produced when you're in ketosis, they are acidic. And what can happen in some people is ketones can build up in your blood and it actually turns your blood acidic. And we have a very small pH range that's safe for our blood. You can absolutely end up in the ER, end up in the ICU. It is something that is life-threatening.
If you're on keto and you notice your mouth is dry, you're peeing a ton, have bad breath or trouble breathing, these are all potential signs of ketoacidosis and cause to call a doctor for help ASAP. Danger number 5. Even if you lose weight on keto, you might not keep it off. Many of us could write a love letter to carbs, and because you have to cut back on them so much, keto can be seen as a restrictive diet, one that some health experts say might not be the best to follow long term. Plus, if you've heard anything about diets, chances are you've heard that the best diet plan is one that you can, stick with long term. Otherwise, you risk regaining all of the weight you worked so hard to lose the moment you go back to your old eating habits. Danger number 6. You could lose muscle mass and zap your metabolism. More bad news. Some of your weight loss on keto could be due to the loss of muscle mass, especially if you're loading up on more fat than protein. Because muscle burns more calories than fat, the effect on your metabolism is not good. We'll let Kaiser explain the science behind this phenomenon.
Most of the time with any diet, when someone is regaining weight, they are gaining back more fat than muscle. And some of that is based off of their physical activity. So if you were doing a lot of strength training while you were, say, regaining weight, then yes, you're going to increase some of what you gain back as muscle. But in general, anytime someone loses weight and regains it, they're regaining it in a higher proportion of fat. The fat that you regain isn't going to be helpful, and so your baseline metabolism can actually drop.
Danger number 7. You could increase your risk of heart disease and diabetes. Keto isn't an excuse to up the butter and bacon in your diet, but if you've seen any keto recipes, you know that it happens. High-fat diets like this one may raise your cholesterol levels, and some studies suggest they increase the risk of diabetes too. Some doctors even call keto a cardiologist's nightmare. Case in point, just recently, a 25,000-person study presented at the European Society of Cardiology Congress in Munich suggested that people on the lowest carb diets, like keto, had the highest risk of dying from cancer, cardiovascular conditions, and all other causes. And another recent study in The Lancet found that people who were on low-carb, high-animal protein diets, a la keto, had a higher risk of early death compared to those who enjoyed carbs in moderation. Here's the takeaway. While the keto craze is alive and well, the diet itself isn't always good for you or the best plan for long-term weight loss, no matter how many deeply inspiring weight loss transformation shots you've seen on Instagram. No matter the diet, experts agree that if your eating plan isn't healthy, balanced, and sustainable, it's not worth the trouble.